and welcome again to another amazing episode of Dear Me podcast. My name is Omomi and this podcast is brought to you by About the Voice. Today I am particularly excited about the topic of discussion because it is something that you really need to listen to. And when I mean listen to, you need to listen to it from start to finish, especially because this is going to help you explain what opportunities are as a young person and understand it. I want to talk about terms that you need to understand when it comes to opportunities or reaching out or seeking opportunities that would help you as a young person. And so if you do not know what is out there, how would you know what to look for? You understand? So it's important that you listen to this particular one from start to finish so that you can understand, okay, what opportunities are even out there for me as a young person. There are a lot of terms today in this world that you would mention to some people and they'll be like, what are you saying? For instance, I remember when I mentioned fellowship to someone and the person was thinking I was referring to some sort of religious probably proposition or program or something, but then you can see that there is more to even that particular keyword. So I'm going to be mentioning different keywords and then I'm going to be mentioning sites and links where you can get opportunities that is out there, and basically a lot of things around opportunities as a young person. But before then, on the previous episode of Dear Me podcast, someone reached out and gave me a feedback. The person was like, I wasn't really observing my phonetics and my pronunciations were not really crisp as they used to be and all of that. And so thank you so much for that feedback. I would make sure to do my possible best to ensure that I pronounce all my words correctly, because of course this is a podcast where we learn or we do a lot of personal development and all of that. And then is it a tip of the iceberg or something? Next week, which is episode 13 on Dear Me podcast, I will be giving my take on some part of relationships. Should I say romantic relationships? As a young person. Romantic relationships. I don't know. Let's just say relationships generally, just a part. And so I just want to give my take on that particular subject on the next episode in the next episode. And then let's see how it goes. Anyways, so let's get into the business of today. So I am going to start first. I'm going to first start with the first thing that I said to someone, and the person was like, okay, are you trying to talk about a church program or something? And so as a young person out there, you would hear things like fellowship, you hear things like volunteering, you hear things like scholarships. I believe that a lot of us know what scholarships are, but you hear things like boot camp, you would hear things like grant, you hear things like internship, you hear things like call for applications and all of that. And you begin to wonder, okay, what exactly are these things and how do I come in? And so first off, I would like to start with a fellowship. So what exactly is a fellowship? Okay, when we talk about fellowship when it comes to opportunities as a young person, one thing that I want you to scrap out of your mind is thinking that it is something related to some sort of religious activity or program or so. No, it is not. So a fellowship is just basically like a paid learning job. I'm sure if you are very conversant with the internet, or if you move a lot or around people who apply for opportunities online, you would have known about the Mandela Washington Fellowship, for instance. It's very popular. So it's a fellowship, and so a fellowship is just like a paid learning job. And so what happens there is that you actually get money to work on a special project. So that project could be anything. It could be for you to work on a study. It could be for you to train with experts and all of that. And so but then in a fellowship you would usually get a mentor, so people would be there to guide you, to talk to you, and it is going to be on whatever the theme or the purpose of that particular fellowship is at that time. So for instance, you hear people say that I am a Mandela Washington Fellow. A lot of times, at least I think I'm aware of someone who was once a Mandela Washington Fellow, and that person got their flights, tickets paid for, their visa arrangements, everything paid for I think 3 weeks. I think it's usually 3 weeks, and then so money would be given to you for being there. Everything that you need, everything that you would be spending money for, whatever, everything would be covered throughout the period or throughout the time where you are carrying out that particular project or whatever it is that you're doing at that particular time. And so most times, a lot of people apply for these opportunities and they are usually competitive. And so maybe whatever the theme or the purpose of a particular fellowship that has been put out per time is, if you've read through and you've seen that, okay, this is something that I'm interested in, I would like to travel, or I'd like to go here, or I'd like to do this for this particular period of time, you can apply for these and you could get selected, and then you can proceed with whatever it is and whatever is being done. But you need to know that, okay, you are being paid for that particular thing. You are paid to do that particular thing that you are doing, or for that work that you are getting involved in, and all of that. So just like I said, a fellowship is like a paid learning job, and I would not be giving you all the details. I know that you might not fully understand what I have said, but then I want you to go out there and make your own personal research. Okay, Omawumi mentioned fellowship, and one way or the other she mentioned some things that maybe I do not clearly understand. Let me go and do further research to find out what this is. Let me search for fellowships that are available out there, and you would be able to read through the information provided and you would be able to understand perfectly. I hope you understand, because if I say I should go in depth into all the explanations or the definitions of these terms, we would not finish this podcast today. So let's move on. So you hear things like fellowship, and then you hear things like program. Exactly. So what is a program? It is not necessarily something religious, because there are some people out there who are thinking, okay, if I hear program, maybe it's a church program or something. So program is just, if I want to bring it down to your level, or to, should I say, if I want to try to simplify it, it is like a school or club, or should I say a summer camp. But what happens basically in a program is that it teaches you something or helps you to do a project. So let's say, for instance, you can hear about maybe a tech program, and in that particular program you can be taught on cybersecurity, you can be taught on web development, you can be taught on maybe graphic design, the essentials of artificial intelligence, and all of those stuff. You understand? So it's a program, but then there are different things that it has been designed for you to learn. So let's say, for instance, you've heard that there is a tech program out there and they're asking for applications, and then you see under the program they'll say that, okay, what are you interested in learning? Some people would say, okay, I'm interested in learning cybersecurity. Some would say data analysis. Some would say I'm interested in learning maybe graphic design and all of that. So that is a program. It is just basically for you to learn something, or for you to carry out a project. And then for programs, I don't think that you get paid for a program, although there are some programs who would say, okay, for joining this program, we are going to help you, we're going to give you stipends, maybe to pay for your data consumption and all of that. But I think it's quite rare, a lot of that. So you can hear things like youth leadership programs. It could hold for 3 months, sometimes it could be for weeks, sometimes it might run for like a year, and all of that. So these are examples of programs. So in case you are searching or looking for opportunities and you hear program, this is what it means. It might just be for you to learn a new skill and all of that. So we've mentioned 2 things so far. I've talked about program, I've talked about fellowship. I think these 2 are the things that are most vague to people. I'm sure you've heard about internship. Internship could be paid or unpaid, and most times, or internship basically is you taking on a short job, and it's usually for the purpose of learning. So let's say, for instance, you're a student in engineering, you'll be hearing that you're going to be doing your IT, and so that means you're going to have to go to a place where whatever it is you are learning, you are able to practice that thing hands-on, like practically. So for instance, if maybe you're a mechanical engineer, they could take you to an automobile company where you are really able to interact with cars, and you're able to go beyond the classroom and practice what it is you have been learning. And so some internships are paid and some are not paid for. And so it just depends on where you're working and probably whatever time it is that you've gone to, wherever it is that you've gone to. So I believe that some internship is something that is clear to us. And then you've heard about boot camps. A boot camp is just basically a short course. I would say it's most likely like an introduction to a particular something. Maybe you're attending a tech boot camp, for instance, and you're learning software development. There'll just be a lot of touching here and there, just like the word says, boot. They are booting you, preparing you, and then you can now get into the main thing later. So it's usually just short, and it's usually just short and usually concentrated, and then you get to practice one or two things on whatever the theme of that particular boot camp is. Just like the example that I gave when it comes to tech. Let's say you're attending a tech boot camp, and then your mind is just being prepared and all of that, and you get to learn about different things. So I would say you should go and make more research about what boot camps are, so that you can get even more details, in case I have not added all the details that you need to hear. So you hear things like accelerator, incubator. You should do research on that. You hear residency. Do research on that. There are competitions, prizes. These are opportunities that have been rolled out every time, and then you have to apply. And so for that is where I'll be stopping on the terms. So do make sure to do more research. And then when it comes to seeking opportunities, yes, now we've understood what a program is. We've understood what a boot camp is. We've understood what a fellowship is and all of that. And so how do you get these opportunities? When you go online, for instance, you hear things like MasterCard Foundation, where they give scholarships. You hear World Bank scholarship. You hear World Bank Forum. You hear African Development Bank this and that. You hear Fulbright scholarship. You hear Chevening scholarship. If you're very conversant with LinkedIn, you will see where people make posts at different points in time, and they will say, I can't keep calm. I've been chosen for Chevening or something. So that means they've won a Chevening scholarship. And then there is the DAAD, that's DAD. When you hear that, it's usually linked with German scholarships and all of that. You hear Erasmus. So I'm just putting all of these things in your mind because I want you to do research and to learn about these things, so that when you are scrolling through the internet and you see these things, it strikes something in your mind and you're like, Omo said this thing at a particular time. Let me go forward and let me check. This is an opportunity, so that you are able to easily recognize opportunities. Although I'm going to still be sharing some more information that would help you. So you hear Mandela Washington Fellowship, which is something that I have talked about. You hear African Leadership Academy. Personally, I got my certificate as a virtual assistant from or through the African Leadership Academy. And so, or African Leadership University programs, any of those online. So you can get, you can actually do more research and you can learn more on that. And so you hear things like Rotary International Scholarships. There are just a lot of them. And so I would like to share with you sites where you can really access these opportunities. For instance, for MasterCard themselves, they have their own website. So you can just go on MasterCard and check for the opportunities. Google MasterCard scholarships, and then just Google MasterCard generally. You get to their site and you can look through their site and check for the opportunities that they have available. Anyways, let's do this hands-on. So right now I am recording with my laptop and I am going to MasterCard Foundation as I speak with you, just so that you would know that, okay, when you want to check, you can also just type MasterCard Foundation, MasterCard Foundation, MasterCard Foundation, And the first thing that comes out, you're going to see MasterCard Foundation Home. You're going to see Scholars Program, where to apply. You're going to see careers. You're going to see our programs. You see a lot of all of these things. And so I'm clicking on MasterCard Foundation here now, and I'm seeing their page. And so they do a lot of this philanthropic work. Yeah, so you see them funding a lot of scholarships, giving a lot of scholarships to people, and all of those stuff. So you can just look through the website and check for what you are interested in. So I'm just going to go back now, and I'm going to click on Scholars Program. So you can see for the Scholars Program, you would see MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program. And then looking through, you could actually see a list of, you just see a list of a lot of things anyways, and opportunities that you can apply for. You can see scholarship application tips. There's just so much. Anyways, MasterCard Foundation is just one of the pages that you can actually look through. And then another site is opportunitydesk.org. opportunitydesk.org. So you can go on opportunitydesk.org is one of my go-to sites when it comes to checking or looking for opportunities. So if you need opportunities, you can go to opportunitydesk.org. There you would see scholarships, you will see fellowships, you will see competitions, you will see programs. You would see basically every single thing that I have mentioned here. You will see them on this particular site. Anyways, in the spirit of doing things live, let's go online and let's search opportunity. If you can hear the sound of my keyboard, so you can see opporunitydesk.org. I'm doing that right now. So you can just check on opporunitydesk.org, and you see, when you go online, you see grants, scholarships, fellowships, and a lot of all of those things I told you. Every single thing that you're looking for, it is on opporunitydesk.org. So you can see recent opportunities that are rolling out, and everything that you're basically looking for, everything that I have mentioned here, you can find on opporunitydesk.org. There are a lot of them, but what I basically use is opporunitydesk.org. I use LinkedIn. Yeah, if you're a young person out there and you don't have a LinkedIn account, bro, you are wrong. Sis, you are wrong. You should have a LinkedIn account so that you can access a lot of opportunities, because a lot of opportunities are usually shared on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is another site or another place where you can access opportunities. And if you're confused about what exactly to do, when you go on LinkedIn, you can just go and search WHO, is it UNESCO job opportunities or UN jobs. Just search for all of this sites, or you can just go on LinkedIn and on ChatGPT or any AI tool that you use and say, this podcast is already 18 minutes. My God. Should I divide this episode into two? Let's see how far we can go. Okay, so you can just go on LinkedIn, you can go on ChatGPT or whatever AI tool that you use, and you can just ask and say, okay, I'm new to LinkedIn and I want to know what sites that I can follow for me to be able to access certain kind of opportunities. You can see scholarship opportunities, job opportunities, fellowships, and all of that, and you're going to get suggestions of pages that you can follow. Do not forget what we do on this podcast. We are curious people, so be curious and ask questions. And thank God you have ChatGPT, you have whatever AI tool that you use to ask questions. Just keep asking questions and keep getting answers. And if you're confused at any point and you need my help, you know you can always reach out to me. Just like I say, my number is always in the description. So there's Scholars for Dev, scholarsfordev.com. There is opportunities for Africans.com. There is Scholarship Forum, I think scholarshipforum.com. So all of these sites are sites where you can access every single thing that I have mentioned today. You can access scholarships there, current scholarships that you can apply to. You can access grants there, internships, fellowships, programs, anything that you're looking for. Competitions, all of these things are usually uploaded on these sites. All right, I'll be wrapping this up here. how do you search for these opportunities? What are the things that you do for you to actually search for these opportunities? One of the things you want to do is to, of course, first of all, decide what you want. Okay, I want to do a fellowship. I want to search for a fellowship. I want to search for a scholarship and all of that. I want to check for funding. I want to work on a project. Whatever it is, you have to first decide on what exactly it is you want to do, and then you can make a short list of keywords that you might be needing. Maybe scholarships, masters, Africa, youth fellowship. Maybe you're looking for master's degree opportunities. You're looking for internships. Just write down these keywords so that it helps you when you are searching for opportunities. So let's say, for instance, I am a JJC and I need an opportunity on, let's say, a scholarship opportunity for undergraduate, and I'm looking for it in Africa. I would say, okay, undergraduate scholarships available in 2025, 2026 for Africans, and then all of these opportunities, all of these things would come out. Then you want to set alerts. Yes, you want to set alerts. You want to say, okay, LinkedIn, please give me alerts when opportunities like this come. If you need help on how to go about that, please reach out to me. So you can set alerts on LinkedIn, you can set alerts on Google and all of that. And then make sure that you check your eligibility. You have to read thoroughly through whatever site or opportunities that you are looking through and all of that. You have to check that, okay, I am eligible for this opportunity that I am applying for. Although there are fellowships available, there are competitions available and all of that, it is important that you read through, because there are some opportunities, for instance, that is or are open to only Americans and Nigerians cannot apply, or there are opportunities that are open to just a certain part of Africa, and you as a Nigerian or whatever country you might be, wherever it is you're listening to me from, or whatever country it is you are from, there are opportunities that you might not be eligible to apply for, so that you don't sit down and then you write and do everything, and at the end of the day you are not selected. Why? Because you did not check if you were eligible. So all of these things are very, very important. So tailoring your application, making sure you apply early, making sure that you're following up your whatever opportunity you've applied for, keeping records and all of that. All of these things are important for you to do. And so what are the things that you should check? What are the things that you should list check that you should check on your list if you're really serious about accessing opportunities? I think I'm going to be talking about that in another episode. That will be on episode 14, because episode 13 is going to be me giving my take on relationship matters, or some things that really things that has to do with relationships, especially when it comes to us as young persons. How far is too far, how much is too much, and all of those stuff. It's actually an interesting episode. You don't want to miss it. Anyways, so I think I'm going to be talking about that in on episode 14, where I will be going in depth on this particular subject. Okay, so this is where I'm going to be wrapping it up for today. I believe that you've been able to learn one or two things. For those of you who have been confused about, okay, what exactly does a fellowship mean? What exactly is this and that? How exactly can I access these opportunities? I believe that I have been able to pass up an information across. Do not forget, these are just tips. These things are much, much more deeper than what I have talked about, and that is where the job is for you. You need to make your own research. A lot of young people are applying for opportunities. They are enjoying their lives because they know what opportunity it is they are looking for, and they know how to go for it. And so do not say she did not even explain, I have explained though. Make sure that you are curious enough to do deeper research, and that you go on these sites to even see what these opportunities look like and how exactly you should go about applying for them. Don't say I have not done anything for you. I have done something for you. Don't say I did not do or I have not done anything. This I have done is a lot. And if you're a smart person, if you're a smart young person out there, you would make good and precious use of this information. With this, I have come to the end of episode 12 on Dear Me podcast. Thank you for staying with me. Do not forget, if you have a question, send me a message on WhatsApp. My number is always in the description. Please, guys, Dear Me podcast needs followers on Instagram. Please follow Dear Me podcast on Instagram. Follow this podcast here on Spotify or anywhere. This podcast is available on YouTube. It's available on Apple. It's available everywhere. So make sure that you give it a rating and that you follow. And then what else? Yeah, and then send your questions, and if you'd like to collaborate, if you have a topic that you'd like me to talk about or that you would like to talk about, please let me know. Let us have this conversation. We'll set up a time or set up a place, and we'll get to have this conversation recorded, and we'll bring it here to bless the ears of our listeners. And so, guys, I am open to collaborations, and if you need my help concerning anything, please, I don't bite. Make sure you reach out to me. This is the longest podcast I have recorded so far, 26 minutes. My name is Omowomi, and this podcast is brought to you by About the Voice. And we say that you are number one.